Greetings, I'm Rob Chapman and welcome to what's going to be a highly controversial video. This is my top 5 guitars that I've reviewed over the past 10 years plus of demonstrating and reviewing guitars on YouTube, which has been an absolute, complete and total pleasure. So there are a number of extreme omissions here, and I'm talking about guitars that I can't include into this top 5 guitars I've demonstrated and played of all time on YouTube. So for a start, I have completely omitted anything to do with Chapman guitars. It's my own guitar brand. Clearly I'm massively biased. So no Chapman guitars in this top 5. The next omission, anything that I have ever purchased. So things like the PRS I bought for my son, or when I bought a Flying V when I was on tour, or you know, the green BC Rich, all these guitars, anything I purchased is completely omitted. I think you're going to be really surprised at some of the choices. These, for me, these are kind of like guitars that got away. Guitar number 1 is a Fender, and it's the Pawn Shop Mustang. It's a Pawn Shop Mustang special car.
Candy apple red.
Candy apple red! 24-inch scale.
Well, you tell him, what would you do if you had a short scale guitar?
If I had one of these, I would whack 11s on it and drop it down to drop C. And because you can do all sorts of awesomeness with electronics that makes that cool as well. But you get the softness and you get all that extra material giving you all that tony goodness. So you can basically drop it and it feels nice and soft. Now the cool thing about this guitar was that it was such an awesome looking machine. It had that vintage vibe. Obviously it's a Mustang. I've never owned, still don't own a Mustang. And I've always thought they looked really cool, but the original design had a bunch of things that I didn't like, specifically the saddles and the pickups and all sorts of bits like that. And this Pawn Shop one, this guitar that never was but could have been, and then obviously was, they'd corrected all of those issues, and we put some 11s on it and I was playing it, and man, I tell you what, I just fell in love with that guitar, and at some point I'll probably get myself one second hand.
What does it smell like? Can you smell the
Actually,
apples?
it doesn't have a scent. It just had this beautiful, hoopy, scoopy, mid-range pop that you get with that kind of shorter scale length, and I really enjoyed it. It's definitely in my top 5 guitars of all time that I've demonstrated on YouTube, so congratulations Fender for having one in there. Are you surprised that it's not a Strat or a Tele? I am. But if I close my eyes and think about my favourite Fender that I've played over all that time, it's that Pawn Shop Mustang. Guitar number 2. Okay, this is a great one. And I'm kicking myself that I didn't buy it. I was so close to doing it, but I just didn't quite have enough money at the time. And I was in a foreign country, and then you got to bring a guitar back and all sorts of things. So it's a Schecter Custom Shop USA Sunset Swirl. It's $2,500 Schecter USA Custom Shop. This is an absolutely ridiculous beast of a guitar. It's incredible. I mean, it looks as good as it sounds. It plays and feels even better than it looks, put it that way. Now, I demonstrated this guitar at Riff City Guitar in Minnesota, and I did a video where I demonstrated it against a kid's Jackson Flying V. And the Jackson Flying V was cool, but this Schecter Custom Shop, my God, it was just like, it was like a creamy, smooth, playing itself, screaming guitar. I love this guitar. I actually was discussing with Joe whether or not I would purchase it from him. It looked really cool, but if you closed your eyes and forgot that it looked great, it just felt amazing and it sounded cool. And it did all of that 80s screaming kind of pick squeals were so easy, you know, pinch harmonics. You could hear all the note definition in the chords. I really fell in love with that guitar, and it's a shame that I never purchased it. For all I know, it could still be a Riff City guitar. I very much doubt it though, because it was one of the best guitars I have ever played. Congratulations, Schecter. Guitar number 3. When I first cut my teeth and kicked off in gear demonstration on YouTube, which was really just a means to me finding more guitar students at the time, because I was a guitar teacher from Wiltshire, where I played in a band called Hooker. I was lucky enough to talk my way into doing some videos for a store called World Guitars in Hitchin, Stonehouse, working with some really amazing guys. One of whom was Jeff Pumfret, who is unfortunately no longer with us. And it still is, to this day, one of my favourite guitar stores. I really am long overdue going back and seeing Smithy and anyone else that I would remember there. It's just nothing but high-end guitars. It's a high-end guitar thing. And one of the PRS guitars that I was asked to demonstrate was a 305 Aquamarine Blue. My God.
Okay, Rob, what we have here is, wow, it's special. It's a 305. No, it's not a 513. Look, there's 3 single coil pickups. Can you believe this? So it's a 305. Only one that's ever been in England. Well, they're all one-off guitars, private stocks, as you know. So this one, hey, it's a little different. We got Swamp Ash. Whoa.
That's pretty.
I mean, if you think about it, really, it's a Strat, kind of. No hum at all. It played flawlessly. It looked like a beautiful ocean floor when you're flying over somewhere that you're going to go on holiday.
There's no buzz, there's no hum.
That's nice. It just had this sound. I don't really play with clean tones. I'm a blues rock, crunchy, metal 80s guy. A little bit grunge, a little bit rock, put it together. That's what I come out with my fingers. You can't do that on a regular S-type guitar. It won't happen. I never really was inspired by crystal clean tones, but when I played that guitar, I was. And I think that's to do with, well, it was just an amazingly constructed private stock. I think it was a private stock PRS guitar, one of many there. But that one in particular stuck in my head forever and a day. years ago, I went to America to visit Fretted Americana to hang out with my friend Phil X, who I haven't seen for a while, and I really should get back in touch because he's very busy playing for Bon Jovi right now, and of course, the Drills. And at Fretted Americana, I was there to chill out with Phil, meet David Brass, the owner, and just demonstrate a bunch of guitars for them, kind of hired gun style. We turned up and the store was just incredible, full of like, you know, £1 million Esquires and all these guitars with no frets left because they've been played for years, but just some absolute gems. And this guitar isn't one of those. We stayed in a hotel really close to David's house. And in the morning, we went to his house and we chilled out and had coffee and relaxed. And on his wall were all these guitars. And he was a big Gretsch fan. And I'm not, or I never was. And I was bored and I picked up a bunch of these guitars. And eventually I found this Gretch Penguin. And it was an old one. And it was absolutely stunning. And immediately I sat on this couch, drank my coffee, and I wrote 2 or 3 tunes that have become things that I've released now. God damn, this is a nice guitar. Gretch Penguin. Plays like, I don't know what it plays like. People say it plays like butter, but it plays like better than that. It plays like olive oil. Matthew Law commented below, when Rob picked up that Gretch Penguin, it was one of the nicest things I've ever heard. And I've remembered that comment to this day. And I've remembered his name, Matthew Law. Because when I read it, I went, you know what? You are absolutely right. It resonated. It became part of my body. It was part of me. It's really weird. It's a guitar I'd never expect to like at all. It's not my kind of, I mean, visually, it's the kind of thing that I would just immediately stay clear of, but I'm telling you, this is such a nice guitar. Absolutely stunning. Japanese piece of wooden wit. And if I could have bought that from David Brass, from Fretted Americana, I would have done it right then. But it was his, and a gentleman does not do those things. But congratulations, Gretch. The Penguin is in one of my top guitars in the last 10 years. I don't own one. I don't know whether it's an individual thing with Gretches. I haven't found one that was as nice as that. I'm sure I will, and when I do, it's mine. My last guitar is a Gibson. And what surprises me the most about this is that it's a 2018 Les Paul Faded Player Plus. I think the reason that surprises me is because it's a recent guitar, and I already own 2 Les Pauls, but my God. I'm kicking myself that I didn't buy the one that I demonstrated. I was a little bit short on cash. I would have had it in a pinch. Had the BB Pro pickups, had the Rich Light fingerboard, the cryogenically rolled frets. It was everything you wanted in a Les Paul. Modern tweaks that were acceptable, beautiful blue kind of coloured. You could get it with P90s, I think, or mini humbuckers, and then like full fat humbuckers. It was so nice. I think the thing about this was, I own a couple of Les Pauls. I think there is this sense online that Gibson hadn't quite got the quality together over a few years, and there were some dips, and if you were going to buy one, then you'd get an old one or whatever, and from a certain year. I don't really subscribe to all of that. I understand guitar manufacturing. You pick it up, it's either a good guitar or it's not, and you'll find 100 guitars. Some of them will be great, some of them won't be, from every brand, including my own. These guitars were brilliant. And I wish I bought one. And it's my last guitar. So, there are some honourable mentions, starting with the N4 snakeskin that I played at World Musical Guitars. That was the first time I ever contacted with Rabia Massad unknowingly, because somebody put a troll comment in the video below and Rabia attacked them and fended them off before we'd even met each other. So in a way, it's really funny. It's the first time we'd ever had a kind of communication with that meeting. That guitar was absolutely flawless. I played it through a matchless amp, which was beautiful. I think it was the Avalon, using the hardwire pedals. Man, my memory is kicking in.
Well, it's terribly rare. I think it's 8 in the world. It's got a real python top on it, snakeskin top. This one has a mahogany back, which is unusual for an N4 signature model, and all black hardware. Really cool inlay here. Horribly expensive, but who cares?
Never forget running through a bunch of the old Nuno riffs and just absolutely loving it. It was covered in snakeskin, not really into that, but it looked great and it sounded great. That's amazing. That is unreal. I have to cut that word out though. My next honourable mention, and this is really way out there, and it's another Gretsch, which is also surprising me, is the $10,000 Malcolm Young tribute Gretsch. Now, it was a bit of a weird one because we picked it up, played it, and we were just like, wow, this thing is insanely good. And I mean, for $10,000, you want it to be really good, but it really had some magic to it. And I was all guns blazing, ready to just destroy this guitar in a video and just go, yeah, you know what? I mean, it's $10,000. This really isn't worth it. I'd never buy it, all these things. Obviously, I didn't buy it because I couldn't afford it. It just had a magic to it. And it's the first time I think I've played a signature / tribute guitar where I really felt they captured that magical essence of an artist. And very sadly, he passed away literally days after we uploaded that video. And obviously we had no idea that was going to happen. And I think it kind of gave the video a kick, although I decided not to include his name in the title or anything because I didn't want to kind of ride that bandwagon. But man, that Gretsch was absolutely stunning. And I wish I could have owned it. There's something about this guitar that I really, really like. I feel honoured to be playing it. Whether you like it or not, it's a great guitar. Malcolm Young should be proud that he did all this damage to something and it survived. And I suppose that's a tribute to Gretsch. I'm Rob Chappers.
Dave.
Take it easy. Really hope you enjoyed this video. Please press the subscribe thing and the bell thing to actually be notified when you get one of these videos from me in my pajamas. Yes, I've been holding random prototype guitars throughout, just to have a bit of fun with you. I'm not going to tell you anything about them. If you really think that I've missed something special in this list, please let me know in the comment section below. Obviously, these are all just my own personal opinion, utterly subjective. I've been Rob Chappers. Chappers out. Left-handed salute.